Imagine an IT service desk at a massive bank. Your AI assistant doesn't just chat with you to troubleshoot a broken laptop, it actually submits a replacement ticket into a live database and instantly pulls your hardware records. That's what happens when a chatbot stops just talking and starts doing actual work. So let's break down the logic of how we connect an agent to these real-world systems. In plain English, for an agent to be truly useful in any enterprise, it's got to update records or trigger business processes in real time. On a technical level, this means integrating your Copilot Studio agent with external APIs. Now, for your AB 620 exam, you need to understand that Copilot Studio achieves this through a very specific set of interfaces, meaning you don't have to write custom integration code from scratch. This leads us right into the tools we use to make this happen. Think of these interfaces as bridges. We use connector tools and REST API tools to translate everyday business requests, like, say, log a ticket, into an automated schema-defined action that a backend system actually understands. You're essentially giving your AI hands to interact with the digital world. The architectural reasoning here? Low-code efficiency. We want to integrate securely without massive developer overhead. Now let's look at how the AI actually picks the right tool for the job. Think of this process like a really smart 911 dispatcher. A caller describes an emergency, and the dispatcher automatically knows whether to send a fire truck, an ambulance, or the police. Well, in Copilot Studio, we call this generative orchestration, and it's the default mode. The AI evaluates whatever the user types against a list of available tools and automatically picks the right one to fulfill the task. But for the AI to get this right, it needs good instructions. Because the orchestrator relies entirely on context, your tool descriptions are absolutely critical. For the AB 620 exam, you've got to remember that the single most common reason an agent fails to invoke a tool is a weak or vague description. If you just write a service for employee data, the AI has no idea when to actually use it. You need to write descriptions specifically tailored for the orchestrator's matching task, explicitly listing what the tool does, the specific data types it handles, and the actual synonyms your users will type. Let's shift gears and look at the types of connectors you can build. So once the AI knows when to use a tool, what kind of tools can we actually give it? Think of connectors like warehouse equipment. Sometimes you just buy a ready-made barcode scanner off the shelf and it works immediately. Other times, you're running a highly specialized warehouse and you have to custom build a tool to interact with your specific custom conveyor belts. Let's break down these two categories. Pre-built connectors are your off-the-shelf options. They give you instant integration with thousands of popular services like Dataverse or Dynamics 365. Custom connectors, on the other hand, are what you build to wrap around your organization's existing internal APIs. From an architectural standpoint, custom connectors are incredibly powerful. Why? Because once you build one using an open API specification, you can reuse it across the entire Power Platform ecosystem, Power Apps, Power Automate, and of course, Copilot Studio. But there is a catch when sharing them. Here's a massive pitfall and a highly testable concept for your exam. Before an agent can use a custom connector tool that someone else built, that connector must be explicitly shared with the maker. You have to physically go into the Power Apps portal, locate the custom connector, and assign can view or can edit permissions. If your teammate can't see the custom connector inside Copilot Studio, you're going to want to check this exact sequence first. Licensing also plays a huge role here. You need to keep in mind that attempting to add a premium connector without the right Copilot Studio premium license will trigger a prompt that blocks you dead in your tracks. Plus, makers must assign can use plus share permissions so teammates can actually test out these integrations. Finally, make sure you understand the difference in scope. Adding a tool at the agent level allows the AI to choose when to use it, whereas adding it at the topic level forces it to run deterministically, meaning it runs exactly when you tell it to, no AI guesswork involved. Now let's talk about locking all this down. Let's talk security. If an employee needs to access a highly secure server room, do they swipe their own personal ID badge, or does the IT supervisor just use a master key to let everyone in at once? That's the core concept behind authentication modes. We have two main ways to handle this. User-provided credentials mean every individual person has to sign in. They use their own badge, and the agent acts as a delegate, only seeing exactly what that specific user is allowed to see. Maker-provided credentials, though, are the master key. This routes all user actions through a single shared service account. You'd use the maker-provided option when your backend system, like a centralized IT ticketing platform, doesn't actually require individual user accounts. But there are some strict rules for when you can use these. This brings us to a critical AB 620 exam pitfall. Maker-provided credentials will absolutely not work on anonymous channels. Your deployment channel must be authenticated. Also, if you're deploying to Microsoft Teams using custom Active Directory authentication, single sign-on is not supported for connector tools. The user is going to be forced to manually sign into that connector the very first time they trigger it. You have to plan your user experience around these constraints. Next, let's look at a simpler way to connect. Let's shift gears for a second. Imagine you work in logistics and you just need to look up a single package tracking number one time. You wouldn't build a massive, complex tracking application for the entire company just for that one task, right? No, you just run a direct temporary query right then and there to get the data you need. That's exactly what a REST API tool is for. When no pre-built connector exists for your external system and the integration is literally only needed for one specific agent, building a full custom connector for the entire Power Platform is total overkill. In this scenario, a REST API tool is your fastest, most lightweight technical path. It lets you connect the agent directly to the API just for that single use case. Let's look at how to build one. Technically speaking, creating this tool requires an Open API version 2 JSON file. But here's a really helpful logic point for you. If you upload a newer version 3 specification, Copilot Studio is smart enough to automatically convert it down to version 2 during the upload process. The most important step here, though, is step 3. You absolutely must rewrite the auto-populated description so the generative orchestrator actually understands how and when to trigger it. And if that API needs security, you gotta configure it properly. For the AB 620 exam, you absolutely need to memorize the core OAuth 2.0 fields required for secure configuration. You've got to know the difference between the authorization URL, which is the identity provider endpoint, and the token URL, which is specifically used to exchange a code for the actual access token. Get familiar with these terms because they will show up. Now, a few final best practices to keep in mind. As an IT instructor, I've really got to emphasize these final logic points for your exam. First, REST API tools are currently in preview status, which means they are not yet suited for a production environment. Second, when you upload your specification, do not just select every single endpoint. If your API has 50 actions, but your agent only needs 2, just select 2. Huge surface areas confuse the AI orchestrator and will drastically reduce your accuracy. So, as you prepare to integrate external systems and sit for the exam, ask yourself this. Have you given the AI orchestrator the exact vocabulary it needs to bridge the gap between human language and backend APIs?